What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Huddle Within Podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in today on this week's episode. Usually enthusiastic, excited, and always keen to put out podcasts every single week and talk about the thing I love, which is sports. And it's something that I hope by now you can see the passion that I have for it. But it's really hard to sit here today and discuss it. And that's because if you haven't been made aware, which I'm sure everyone has, the devastating attack on Bondi, a terrorist attack on Bondi that happened on Sunday, has really rocked me, to be honest, to my core. 15 dead. I'm not counting the shooter because it doesn't count him, and I don't think he's a human, to be honest. But I'll leave that opinion for myself. 15, the youngest being a 10-year-old girl, which me saying that out loud actually really gives me emotion. Never in a million years would I have thought we'd ever have a mass shooting in my country. I've obviously seen it a lot in the United States. I've seen terrorist attacks online, and since I've grown up to see them, they've always put me in a very uncomfortable situation and has really got the worst out of me as a person based on my reactions and fears towards it. And for it to happen literally next door to my state in Melbourne, it's just really hard to fathom, honestly. And look, I think there needs to be lots of work in the government, whatever they need to do, because clearly they're not doing a good job here. The anti-Semitic stuff is gone off the rails. And look, I'm not here to talk politics, but I can sit there and safely say that the hate towards Jews has gone to another level, because no matter what you think of them, innocent lives should not be taken based on people's political views and whatnot. And mine can be different to yours can be different to mine. But at the end of the day, we are all human. And I've sat there hating on what's happened, mainly towards the government and the fact that I feel as though they are deeply responsible for this, deeply responsible. Like, the first point to blame is our government. And the fact that I'm looking on the news and seeing that there is just no accountability taken whatsoever by Anthony Albanese, our Prime Minister, is just shocking to me. Like, it fucking boils my blood. And this whole thing has fucking boiled my blood. Like, the fact that, and we can take away the race, this and that, but a fact that a human being they're not human beings, they're fucking pigs or dogs, whatever they are. The fact that they're able to just go and kill innocent people, to me, is just fucked up. It's just fucked up, as simple as that. And it makes me scared. Like, I feel like Australia has been shaken now. We're obviously 9 days away from Christmas, a time of the year that is celebrated here in Australia because we are authentically a Christian country, predominantly, is not going to be celebrated to the levels that it will. And even New Year's Eve, like, Sydney always has a really strong fireworks display and a nice celebratory time, especially in Melbourne too. How can people feel safe going out to the city, enjoying the fireworks without thinking in the back of their mind that they could get shot? And I haven't been to Sydney much, but I've walked on that bridge before. So to actually just know that someone has committed the most evil act on that bridge and in that site, which is a worldwide popular site, not even just in Sydney, but in Australia altogether. Yeah, it just sickens me. And look, the show must go on, and we must talk about the things that I love, and hopefully it can distract you. But I can't sit there and say that I'm enthusiastic to record this podcast, that I'm enthusiastic about sports this week, when all my news and all things I've been looking at have been related to this massacre, which is a really, really dark day. And my thoughts, my prayers, my condolences are to all the families and close friends that were affected by this shooting, and to the lives. I hope justice does get served. I hope that there are some actions taken, and by actions, I mean meaningful actions taken. Whatever they are, we'll leave it up to the government. I will refuse to put up my views here online about it, but the right actions must be taken by our government, because the fact that this happens and has happened is definitely on their hands, and it's definitely at their fault. They are to blame for this. They are to blame for what's happened, because the fact that it can be happening in this country based on everything that's been going on, the hate that's been going on in this world, the fact that I feel like the government has encouraged it is to me simply disgusting. And that's the last time I'll bring it up today. But yeah, it's just obviously in the back of my mind and I can't hide that. But yeah, we're here. If you, I guess, enjoy the episode on a sour note, it is more exciting, more exuberant when we do talk about sports. So if you do enjoy sports, if you do enjoy a wide range of different sports, hearing the latest sporting news and getting a real authentic view, feel free to subscribe to the Huddle Within wherever you get your podcasts. And if you could leave a 5-star review, it would be greatly appreciated. Despite everything that's going on there, we do, yes, as mentioned, talk about sports in a more positive manner. And I hope my tone changes as I start bringing up things. Just wanted to take a moment to thank you guys for tuning into another episode of the Huddle Within podcast. If you do enjoy episodes like this, or this episode specifically, be sure to leave a comment and a 5-star review wherever you do get your podcasts. It'd be also great if you could like and subscribe wherever you do get your podcasts, so we can continue to show this out to people that see sports exactly the way that you do. But without further ado, let's get straight back into it. Again, for me, I was already sad because John Cena had his last retirement match on the same day against Gunther. Gunther had a massive reaction, like a negative reaction, lots of boos, lots of people very against Gunther. Like it really felt like in a real like sporting match, an away team getting that reception and Gunther being the away crowd, where John Cena had the home crowd and all the fans cheering for him as he approached his last very match on Saturday night's main event in the home of the Washington Wizards, the Capital One Arena. And you'd think the home team would win like the Wizards normally do, but John Cena did not win. And I was obviously sarcastic because the Wizards don't win games. John Cena lost, and he not only lost, he gave up. He tapped out to Gunther for the very first time in his 23 or so years of wrestling. John Cena tapped out, which it makes sense for the storyline. The way he tapped out, he had a nice smile on his face. I think it makes sense. Now, there was a lot of people online that were very angry with the booking, a lot of abuse going on to Triple H, and a lot of abuse to Gunther, which I think was not necessary. But now Gunther is the most hated man in all of WWE, which I think is great for his character and great for, I guess, his storyline going forward. I think he's got a lot of heat, and I'm just hoping that Triple H can use that to go forward with him. But Triple H getting a lot of abuse from lots of fans. Obviously, they're upset that it's John Cena's last match, and people are probably upset with the result overall. But I have to say and sit there and say it was a correct decision, and I don't think this decision gets approved unless it's from John Cena himself. And I think John Cena approved this decision to give up, to tap out, and to ultimately retire. And we're going to miss John Cena. I think he'll still be around. We'll get to hear his theme music and him running out to the apron if he still has the legs to do it. So I don't think it's the end of John Cena. It's just definitely the end of him in the ring. And yeah, we move on to, I wouldn't say a new era because Triple H has already called it a new era, but new stars coming up, especially with what we saw on Saturday night's main event with the young stars, Obafemi, Sol Ruka, Leon Slater, and Javon Evans. And just remember those names because those guys are going to be big players in the main roster. They're all currently on NXT, and NXT is looking to produce some really good talent, especially those four who shone on Saturday night's main event and did a fantastic, fantastic job in those matches. So all credit to them, all credit to what we're going to see. I'm very excited for that. I'm very excited to see where WWE goes. We're on the road to WrestleMania, close by 2 weeks away from the new year, and then Royal Rumble starts at the end of Jan. So that's going to be honestly exciting. So super keen to see how that essentially goes. But that pretty much wraps up, I guess, the WWE news at the moment, especially considering that most of the attention was on John Cena's final match. Just wanted to take a moment to thank you guys for tuning into another episode of the Huddle Within podcast. If you do enjoy episodes like this, or this episode specifically, be sure to leave a comment and a 5-star review wherever you do get your podcasts. It'd be also great if you could like and subscribe wherever you do get your podcasts, so we can continue to show this out to people that see sports exactly the way that you do. But without further ado, let's get straight back into it. Some quick NFL And the Saints continue to play spoiler in the NFC South, getting a win on a field goal to end the game in the last 3 minutes. And what a story. The guy that kicked the field goal, I think he's from Ireland, and he played Gay League his whole life. And he just got a random contract for the Saints, and he's now the team's kicker, and he's been doing an excellent job. I think Tyler Shock looks to be the guy this season, throwing for 272 yards and 1 touchdown. He made 24 out of 32 completions, which is quite solid. And he linked up really well with Chris Olave, who's having a positive season this year too. So I think the Saints just need to hit on the draft and continue to build on, I think, the quarterback, and also just to bring in some more weapons as well moving forward too. Another team that won on a field goal was the Seattle Seahawks, taking down the Indianapolis Colts, who have lost their last 4. They're resorting to a 44-year-old Phillip Rivers, who hasn't played in the league for so long. They literally undermanned at quarterback that they had to bring back Phillip Rivers from retirement. And he went out there, he did well, but obviously just not good enough there. But how good is Jackson Smith and Jigba continues just to be a beast. And yeah, they essentially won, the Seahawks, and obviously got through. Now are 11-3 and looking like a big player in the NFC, which will be exciting for them, of course. They are going to be taking on the Rams at their home floor. It will be a Thursday night football clash, and I'm really excited to see how the Seahawks will go. Can they defeat the Rams? The Rams are on fire. Puka's just been killing it. Matthew Stafford is an MVP candidate. They make quick work of the Lions, 41-34. The Lions have got that reputation for scoring. You had Amon St. Brown. You had Jameson Williams just killing it, but Puka was just on another level. 81 yards, 9 receptions. That guy is simply a monster, and he continues to just do great work there. We had the Bills beating the Patriots. The Bills are my key, I think, players to take out the AFC, in my opinion, and go to the Super Bowl. And they proved it here with a big match. And Josh Allen just shows that he is just MVP worthy. This was played in the Patriots ground, and the Bills got it done, 31-35. So they continue to make good strides. It is a divisional game, and I think they just proved that they are the real players. But I think undoubtedly the player and the game of the night goes to Trevor Lawrence, who had 5 touchdowns, 330 yards, which is quite amazing. And Travis Etienne was sort of his receiving mate, despite him being a running back. He had a killer as well, and they torched the New York Jets, the New York Jets they're definitely going to be getting Mendoza next year, the Heisman winner. Congratulations to Mendoza, who did win the trophy as well. He looks to be a future star quarterback. Let's see how he goes. I think the Jets will probably take him. I expect to see Mendoza on the Jets next season, and we'll be able to see how they go. The Broncos are also the real deal. They get it done 34-26 as well. Solid performance from them. Hervey's looking to be a really nice rookie, and Bo Nix, 302 yards for 4 touchdowns. Close to a Trevor Lawrence performance, but not there yet, I guess, in that match. But he's been good overall. And Sutton has been in the league for a long time, and he's just balling out as he normally does. And I think, the ramifications are high. We obviously have the Seahawks taking on the Rams, as we mentioned, as one of the main games. We also have the shit off between the Saints and the Jets. The Saints are looking to go 3 in a row, which makes our season record look pretty good, and that'd be pretty cool, despite how bad we've been. The Ravens and the Patriots are probably another good game, and also the Lions and Steelers to sort of cap off Week 16, as we're 3 weeks away from playoff football as well. I just got through to the next stage of fantasy too. In the semifinals, I will be taking on TJ, which is exciting as well, and things are on the up for me in fantasy. I had a really good score this week, and I'm hoping that can continue as well. But that pretty much wraps up the NFL. Just wanted to take a moment to thank you guys for tuning into another episode of the Huddle Within podcast. If you do enjoy episodes like this, or this episode specifically, be sure to leave a comment and a 5-star review wherever you do get your podcasts. It'd be also great if you could like and subscribe wherever you do get your podcasts, so we can continue to show this out to people that see sports exactly the way that you do. But without further ado, let's get straight back into it. We then had the NBA crazy performance from Steph Curry the other night, like 49 points off 11 threes, which is quite amazing too. The Wizards smack up the Pacers. That was awesome. I was really happy about that. Wizards getting a dub there is important. I think we don't want our record to look too bad. We currently sit 4-20 at the moment, so we're blazing ahead. No pun intended for those that got that. Funny days. We had a fun Suns and Lakers game with Dylan Brooks getting a 3 and getting teed out at the end for bumping LeBron, and then LeBron ended up hitting the free throws to ice the game out. That was awesome. And then obviously NBA Cup, we had the Knicks beating the Magic and the Spurs beating the Thunder. So I predicted a Lakers-Knicks final, but the Spurs pretty much spoiled that chance by smacking the Lakers and then beating the Thunder, which to me, I think this was easily the game of the season. I had the chance to watch the whole thing. Normally when I can't watch every single game. I watch the daily recaps on a regular basis, but this was a game where I was able to actually watch the full thing. Look, the OKC didn't perform. They didn't rock up when they needed to. Devin Vassell had a really good shooting night, hitting 4 threes, plus 10 on the night. You had Harrison Barnes, who I think was just solid as well, has proven to be a really good role player. And there's a lot of rumors to suggest that the Spurs will probably go for Giannis. But when you have the team so cohesive and performing the way they are, with Wembanyama on the bench, who, by the way, plus 21, 22 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks, 1 steal in 21 minutes is simply incredible. And he really helped them out too. Stephen Castle had a pretty solid game despite the turnovers, 22 points. De'Aaron Fox, 22 points as well. And Dylan Harper as well, being pretty solid there. So they have a really nice 3-guard rotation to handle, along with Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes, who have been solid shooters all around and great role players. And then you even have Julian Champagny, who is extremely underrated as well. Talk about a role player that's playing his role really well. He's been unbelievable. And then you've got Keldon Johnson, who's proven to be a really good 6-man, and he's 1 game closer from winning the ranch. And I think he really the llama for his ranch. He said if he wins, he'll get a llama. So look out for the Knicks and Spurs tomorrow, NBA Cup action for the final, and Keldon Johnson potentially getting a llama if they win. And look, I'm going to go to Spurs on this one. I think they've been just too strong. And the West teams that they've been up against, the Lakers and the Thunder, who are currently standing top 2 in the West, I don't see them losing to the Knicks. And I know the Knicks probably have more experience. The Nuggets have taken over the Lakers, so they're sitting second, but Lakers nevertheless still a top 3. I do think the Knicks have had a lot of experience, but I just don't see anyone stopping Wembanyama. But it's going to be a really exciting NBA Cup final. I tune into that tomorrow because I think it's always good to see NBA Cup action during the season. It primes you up for playoffs, and the bit of the rest in schedule shows that the quality of games have been good as well. So yeah, be sure to look out for that. That's going to be exciting, nevertheless, too. Just wanted to take a moment to thank you guys for tuning into another episode of the Huddle Within podcast. If you do enjoy episodes like this, or this episode specifically, be sure to leave a comment and a 5-star review wherever you do get your podcasts. It'd be also great if you could like and subscribe wherever you do get your podcasts, so we can continue to show this out to people that see sports exactly the way that you do. But without further ado, let's get straight back into it. We then have the EPL to talk about. Coming off the firstly, United drawing with Bournemouth. I know it was the last game. A crazy game. I thought United would have had it in the bag. We literally dominated the game, to be honest. We had more shots on target. Or we had the same shots on target, but we had more possession, way more shots. Probably not enough on target, hence why we drew the game. But just terrible defending, I would say. A good chance for us to get into the top 4 and be ahead of Chelsea, or even just sit at 5th on the same points as them. We don't. We stay on 26 points. Chelsea 2 points behind us on that 4th spot. But Liverpool is sitting on the same sort of points as we are. We just got a higher goal difference. But at the end of the day, United just fucked up again. We had the chance to get a win at Old Trafford. If we beat Everton, West Ham, and Bournemouth, we'd be sitting on easily. I know everyone's dropped points, so I'm not trying to sit and say that would be the case, but we could be comfortably sitting at 4th with about 31 points. And they were all winnable games. We happened to perform good away from home, but when it comes to Old Trafford, we just simply struggle, and I don't really know why that's the case. I don't know if there's just too much pressure going on. But at the same time, that's just what it is. And United just continue to just struggle on that front. We have Sunderland against Newcastle. I did say I was going to watch the game, and I did watch the game, albeit I didn't watch it with obviously much excitement due to the events that transpired, as we mentioned at the start. But Sunderland take the victory. I'm happy with my prediction, but I would have never have thought that Victor Voltamada would have scored a banging header in his own net. It looked like a striker's finish. Very unfortunate for him. I'm sure that he'd be very upset about what happened, but I think it was just pure luck there. But Sunderland looked more the lively team. Newcastle's record away from home continues to be terrible. And yeah, the Sunderland fans were going away very happy after that result, and they sure do deserve it. And they're currently sitting in 8th place after a few points dropped, and you can tell how tough the Premier League is. Again, between 4th and 10th is only 5 points. And if you had Tottenham and Newcastle there who were struggling, it is only 6 points. So 2 games away from either being a Champions League team or a mid-table to close to relegation team. Premier League's hard. It's really hard to get points this season. Besides the struggling Wolves, who I don't think they're going to win a game this year. They can't catch a break. They lost again to Arsenal. You thought that they were going to be able to get a point there, but they didn't. They lost, and they lost in the 90th minute, which was quite crazy and unfortunate for them. But they look like to relegate. Everyone else is competitive, and on any given day, if you catch a team on the right mood, they will defeat you. But Tottenham, far out, 3-0 to Nottingham. And the appointment of Sean Dyche has looked to be pretty good for Nottingham Forest so far. They've bounced back from some rough, shaky starts and have found themselves outside the relegation zone too, sitting 5 points away, which is a nice safety net for them. And Sean Dyche figures out a way to get teams out of relegation, that's for sure. And they smack up Tottenham. Look, I don't know what's going on with them. I thought United were a shit show, but then seeing them perform how they did is rubbish. And they're coming up against Liverpool, and they're at home, and I don't really see them winning that game. It's going to be a struggle. I think they will struggle. And another team that will struggle is United too. They're taking on Aston Villa away from home as well. Can they get a result there? Like, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, with United again, I just wouldn't be surprised if they got a result, because they seem to perform really well away from home. And they probably will lose, but I'm more confident versus Aston Villa at their ground than them coming to us at this point, which is crazy to say. We also have the first game of the round, which is Newcastle and Chelsea. I think there'll be a draw that game. Wolves and Brentford. Can Wolves get their first win of the season at home? I think no. I think they're really a shit show. So that might be a draw. Even Brentford could get a win there. And if Brentford do get a win, the Wolves, I think, probably won't win a game all season. Man City take on West Ham. I'm expecting West to lose and Man City to make quick work there. Might be a good time for me to triple captain Haaland. I'm not sure. I haven't decided, but it could be the case. Brighton and Sunderland is an interesting one, because I think Sunderland have been really good, but Brighton are a very solid team. I think Brighton can get the win there despite Sunderland coming off the derby. Bournemouth and Burnley. Bournemouth should win that one. I mentioned Tottenham, Liverpool. I think Liverpool will win. I don't want them to, but I think Tottenham are just rubbish at the moment. At worst, they can probably get a draw. Leeds and Palace. I think it will be a draw there. I think Leeds can hold out at home. Everton and Arsenal. I expect an Arsenal 1-0. Aston Villa, Man United, I'm going to go 2-2, but I wouldn't be surprised if Aston Villa win about 2-0, but I'll go 2-2 for that one. Fulham and Nottingham Forest, I will give a draw there. I think Fulham are too strong at home for that one. So that's sort of the Premier League roundup there. Some interesting games to sort of close off match week 17 as we are almost at the halfway point. And at the moment, Arsenal are sitting on top, and 2 weeks ago we would have said comfortably on top, but now they're only 2 points away from Man City, who have won their last 4 games, who seem to be around that as well, and Aston Villa on 33 points, who have won their last 5 too. So if they beat United next week, they'll make it 6 in a row, and they'll be in that commanding position. Can it be a 3-way race? I don't know. I don't think so. But Aston Villa are certainly doing a really good job up there. And after a really shaky start, they've sort of picked it up since then and have been dominating. So got to give credit where credit's due for there. But again, this has been a short episode of the Huddle Within, a quick sporting review for you guys. Obviously, as mentioned, if you've just tuned in, the devastating terror attack, mass shooting in Bondi has really put a bit of a stain in me at the moment, and dampened my mood big time. So apologies for not being as enthusiastic as I could. But again, I love talking about sport with you guys. So I'm always going to try to post something every single week. And as we get on to Christmas and festivities, hopefully we can be in a more positive light. Spread some love. Just really enjoy what you do is probably what I would say. And just be happy that you're able to just live this beautiful life with its ups and downs. But again, we're breathing, we're living, and especially here in Australia, despite the dangers that probably have happened and might happen in the future, we live a relatively healthy and easy life, and I have an opportunity to come and talk about sport with you, and it wouldn't be if it wasn't for this country and the situation that I'm in. So again, thank you very much for tuning into this episode. If you did like the episode, feel free to subscribe, leave a review. It meant a lot to me, honestly. And again, I've seen some comments on my YouTube and Spotify. So for those that have been listening and putting a comment, thank you so much. And just let me know who's tuning in. I'm keen to know who my listeners are. Again, I know some of yous in person. Obviously, I'm not that big yet, so I know that they're my mates that mostly listen to it, have come up, and people I haven't seen in a while have said they've been watching my podcast and listening as well. So if you're out there listening, I really appreciate you just having a comment or any feedback as well. Yeah, we're still doing sporting news for now. It's been difficult to get sporting guests, especially this side of the year, given that we're closing to Christmas. But I do have one locked in, as I said, for Jan, and hopefully I can get that out as well then. But again, thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys next week. Cheers. So that's a wrap for this week's episode of the Huddle Within podcast. I appreciate you for tuning in and being part of this community where we go beyond the game and into what really matters. If this episode resonated with you, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who sees sports just the way that we do. And hey, I'd love to hear from you. Connect with me on my social medias, which will be linked below. Send in your thoughts and even be part of a future episode. Until next time, keep that passion alive, stay in the huddle, and remember, it's always deeper than the game. Cheers.